Forget everything you think you know about recycling. Seriously. Today, we're going deep on a massive international crime. This is the story of a global shell game, played with something as simple as plastic, and how data is finally letting us see who's holding the cards. So you toss that plastic bottle into the recycling bin, right? You get that little pang of satisfaction, right? You did the right thing. But what happens after the truck pulls away? The truth is, that bottle starts a journey into a hidden world, and way too often, it ends up as a key piece in a very sophisticated criminal operation. And make no mistake, this is not a victimless crime. The source material calls it waste colonialism, and that's a powerful term. It's basically wealthier nations exporting their environmental problems, dumping their low-value, contaminated plastic on countries that have fewer resources to deal with it. It's a huge, huge issue of environmental justice. So how in the world did we get here? Well, the whole system got a massive shock back in 2018. China, which used to be the world's biggest plastic waste importer, just slammed the door shut. They called it the National Sword Policy, and boom, global chaos. Suddenly, exporters were scrambling, totally desperate for new places to send their waste. This pressure created the perfect storm for illegal tactics to explode, especially one big one: deliberately mislabeling worthless, dirty plastic scrap as a valuable product to sneak it past customs. But here is where it gets really interesting. This crime, as huge and as hidden as it is, isn't totally invisible. It actually leaves behind a very specific trail, kind of like a digital fingerprint, buried in plain sight in global trade data. You just have to know what you're looking for. And this is the fingerprint. It's called the inverse price-volume signature. I know, it sounds super technical, but the idea is actually really simple. It's just a bizarre pattern where the amount of something being traded goes way up, while at the same time, its price is totally crashing. That is not how a normal market is supposed to work. Well, let me break that down. In a healthy, normal market, if tons of people want to buy something, what happens? The price usually goes up, right? Supply and demand. Price and volume tend to move together. But with this criminal signature, you see the exact opposite. Huge volumes are being shipped, but the price is in a nosedive. The source material compares it to a bearish signal in finance, and that's a perfect analogy. It's a massive red flag screaming that something is very, very wrong. And look, this isn't just a theory. The proof is right here in the data. For these specific plastic product codes, you can see that signature clear as day. Take the first one, code 390210. Trade volume is up a whopping 20%, but its price is down 15%. This is the evidence. This is the fingerprint of the crime hiding in the open inside official records. Okay, so we've found the fingerprint. Now what? How do you possibly catch these guys on a global scale? I mean, you can't have an army of inspectors checking every single shipping container. The solution? Well, you build a digital detective, a sophisticated AI model designed to do one thing: hunt for that signature across millions of transactions, automatically. So how does this digital gumshoe actually work? It's a really slick four-step process. First, it acts like a profiler, sorting all these plastic products into different market groups. Let's call them gangs. Then it scans for shady behavior, flagging any gang that shows a sudden, weird spike in volume. Step 3 is where it gets really smart. It learns to predict which of these gangs are high risk. And then, step 4, maybe the most important part, it explains why. It tells us the exact clues it used to get suspicious, which makes its findings not just clever, but credible. All right, this is where the story gets really good. After building this digital detective and training it up, the researchers basically set it loose on all that global trade data. The big question is, did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. In fact, it worked unbelievably well. That's the model's accuracy, almost 94%. So what does a number like that actually mean? It means the model is exceptionally good at sifting through this massive ocean of data to pinpoint the exact market segments where the sketchy activity is happening. It's like a super powerful filter that lets investigators ignore the noise and focus right where it matters most. And get this, the AI didn't just find the crime. It told us exactly where the criminals were hiding. It identified 4 different types of plastic markets, but here's the absolute breakthrough. 100% of the at-risk products were concentrated in just 2 of them. All the bad stuff is happening in what they call the high-volume commodity and emerging commodity groups. So, how is it so accurate? How does it know? Well, thanks to that explainable AI, we know its secrets. It learned to look for 2 main clues above all else. The number 1 biggest red flag, a consistently falling price. And number 2, Prices that are just all over the place, super unstable and volatile. Those are the dead giveaways that a market is being flooded with mislabeled waste. This is all really fascinating, but what does it actually mean in the real world, right? Well, this is the payoff. This is about turning these incredible data insights into a real weapon for customs officers and environmental regulators, the people on the front lines. And that's really the key takeaway here. This isn't just an academic paper collecting dust on a shelf. It's a practical, tested, and deployment-ready tool that authorities around the world can pick up and use right now to start fighting back against this massive environmental crime. And here's what that looks like in practice. The AI doesn't just hand us a bunch of data. It gives us an action plan. For instance, it flags PVC plastic and links it directly to an existing rule that just needs to be better enforced. For other products, it points out specific loopholes in international treaties and gives a clear recommendation. Add these to the restricted list. This is literally how data can close the loopholes that criminals have been exploiting for years. But here's the thing. We have to act fast. The forecast out to 2030 is pretty grim. It shows that if we do nothing, this problem is only going to get worse. The volume of this at-risk plastic trade is projected to keep climbing, while its value just keeps dropping. The shell game is speeding up. So, the data detectives have cracked the case. We have the fingerprint, we have the suspects, we even have the tool to catch them. The technology has exposed this crime with stunning clarity. The only question left isn't about data anymore. It's about will. Now that we know exactly what's going on, what will it take to finally stop it?